Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. Happy Boxing Day. Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrated Christmas yesterday. Welcome to the live stream. We still have to prep for the coming week, the final week of trading for 2021. Hope everyone is well. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button, especially ringing the bell so you get notified when we're doing the live streams. Hello, Amit. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thank you for being here with us. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look. We're probably going to make this a little shorter since I would still like to spend some vacation time before the final week of trading of the year, but it's always important to do our market prep. That is most important, else we are not prepared for the next week. Our S&P, look at this. Remember, we're watching for a close above this recent resistance area. I don't have all the lines on right now. I'll turn them on in a second. And we finally got that close on Thursday. Remember, no trading on Friday. So it's pretty much, and when I view this, I start looking for closes above the candle bodies, which we were rejected from so many times. And you can see like here, that was actually open. This is the highest close was right here on December 10th. And then we were immediately reversed, but we had a lot of price rejection from there, which is now really in the clear. So just before I put on all those lines, just wanted to cut through that. Now, I have not seen any negative news or anything come out. I mean, besides the expanding Omicron cases, but there doesn't seem like there's tons of hospitalizations or deaths, which is a good thing. And we have a really nice run up into the end of the year, and there's generally window dressing and rebalancing because it's also quarter end. So keep that in mind as we move forward. I'm still expecting bullish price action this week, but we do have to prepare for both sides. Here was Thursday's trading. We had these levels on up to 47.18 before. The only other thing I did was do the minor levels right here. I'll just show you on this little exploding momentum bar, just coming up to this pausing, gave me 47.27, 47.30, 150, and then the reverse off of that into the close, just people closing out positions going into the long weekend. So let's take a look at what we have now. We can update these longer term levels. We can update the longer term levels. We can switch to our hourly chart. We can see bullish line in the sand. Oh boy, we have to reset. Where is it? This one? Nope. Where is it? Oh, and it was working. It was working. And it's not going to work for some reason. Boy, I hate when that happens. Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. We will just do it the old-fashioned. I mean, I'm going to be bullish. Anything. Oops. Anything above. I just wanted to see where the point of control was. But as the moment we get above this 47.27 area, I go into complete bullish mode tomorrow. Complete bullish mode. I will be in, if we start rallying off the open or tomorrow night into tonight's session, that if I get a nice bullish entry signal, that's where we'll start. But otherwise, if it starts off a little pullback, watch the bottom of the 1 hour rotation zone. And in the 4 hour mode, even about 4,700 is going to be the 4 hour rotation zone. If we did drop below that, I'm not looking at this area. I will pay attention to, I have the harmonics on here. I will pay attention to the next thing down is about the 4,700. Then I'm watching about 46.88. That's the 75% harmonic from this run up. Remember, once we closed above the 62.5%, it was expecting at least a retest of the high area, which I'm expecting to do tomorrow. So that would be 47.43.25. If we did drop below 46.88, my major support zone is back at 46.65, 46.63.65 area, right in front of the 62.5 harmonic, and you definitely don't want to close below that again. So this is my major support zone on any pullback. Other than that, let's take a look at the bigger picture and the upside levels. So above 47, well, 47.28, but then I'll really be watching 47.31. Get above that, I'm just going all the way to 47.43. I have to update these levels to 47.43.25. Above there, minor is 47.57. Then we have 47.74 to 47.84, and we'll look to fine tune this with an intraday cluster. So that's where you learn to use the harmonics. And then major is 4800, 4804, 4806 area. I just go off 4800 right there. But could we? I know somebody will ask this at some point, even if they're not on the live stream. I'll get an email. Do you think we could hit 4800? We could. We could, especially if it gets off to races early, because it's a full trading week. Even on New Year's Eve, the 31st, I only think the bond market closes early. I'll have to double check that, but I know stocks are trading the full week. So could it easily get there? Yes. Then above that is 48.66. So keep that in mind. Your key area on the daily, you don't want to get up below. Really, the daily rotation zone is right here at the 62.5 area that I already talked about. Let me expand that right here. And we already talked about that 46.64, 46.65. So that's your key support on the daily, and you definitely don't want to drop below about 46.46. That's the bottom of the daily rotation zone. If we did, this would be another failed breakout to the upside, and I'd watch for a retest of this lower trend line. That would not be a bullish outcome at all. NASDAQ, you can see here, we'll take off the, this is not anywhere close to, I mean, it's close, but it's not like the S&P that actually on a closing basis went to new highs. So we're still got some work to do, but let's see where we stand here. Again, these were the intraday projections on Friday, these little lines. The last one I had from the, on Thursday, the last one I had from the live stream was 16,303. I got asked, do you think we could hit 16,300? And I said yes, and we did. So, we didn't quite get up to my next, we got up to this 16,341, but could not close above it, at least on the hour chart, and could not get back to that level. I'm just resetting these longer term levels. And bullish mode. Where's my bullish mode line? Where is my bullish mode line? Where did that go to? Well, I'll make a new one. All right. Going into Monday, I'm just going to have to come off. Ooh, why does that disappear? I'm having some weird things going on here, guys. Sorry about that. Bullish area. Oh, that's where the bullish area was from before. Let me clean some of this off so we can get a better idea of what is going on. All right. Now we can figure out bullish area. Back above about 16,337 area right now, sitting right at that 1 hour rotation zone. You can always watch the bottom overnight. On a bigger pullback, I'm coming back down to about 16,200. And I'm bumping this up to that little key resistance to 16,182. That's my support zone. If we drop below that, that would not be good. You actually have some clear path down here, but I'd be about 16,050. And below that, yeah, 16,050, 16,070. And below that, we're looking at around 16,000, I mean 15,978. Let me see. On the double bottoms on the SPX and NAX on the daily to be verified need to close above the resistance where it failed. Those are not double bottom. Remember, these are not double bottom patterns. These are two bottoms. Okay? Why aren't they double bottoms? And we can take a look at the SPY, but it's not going to be much difference because it's not reversing a big enough move. So these are just two bottoms. So you can't use double bottom targets for this. This is why even on the S&P, this is not a double bottom pattern. This is where people get completely confused. A double bottom pattern is a reversal pattern. And this is the move that started it, these two bottoms. So it can't be a double bottom. Please keep that in mind. It's very important, else because of the targets do not work then. Hello, hello, Wavy. Nice to have you here. So to the upside, again, I'll be pretty much in bullish mode tomorrow once it gets above 16,336. We have 16,457, and we have a cluster. It's this prior high, and we have the projection cluster, and we have a harmonic. So do not ignore about 16,457 to 16,464. That's definitely an area to move up the stops. Then, since we don't have many stopping points in here, I'm working with this next cluster, 16,577, 16,572. That's my next cluster area. And then above there, we have 16,698 to 16,000. Let me see, 16,000. We're just going to use 16,698. So 16,000, 1,700. Then we're at 16,767 as the all-time highs. Above there, you can see we can use major target 17,067, 17,367. I want to see where the reverse harmonics go now. Look at that. So intermediate levels, make sure you update your charts of those levels I just put on there. Let me expand them again, because now we have above this 16,767, if it does get through there, remember there's a fair amount of overhead resistance still. Where we're clear in the S&P, you're not really clear in the NASDAQ yet. But you have 16,927, then you have the major cluster, 17,067, as I already said, and 17,086. So those are the key levels. The upside, Dow. Again, let's get the bigger picture. You can see here, it'll be, if the Dow can really get above about 36,076 area, right in here, then I could see it easily making the run for the highs. It's still got a little work to do. I was watching it for the close above this key area on Thursday, and we could not get there just yet. So that's minor. We were in bullish mode pretty much though. So, and you can see here I also did those little, once we got above 35,882, which we stalled out at, I then did this little mini projection up, 35,909 and 35,932, which we could not get a close above. Nailing that high, just poking above it, then the reversal into the close. So bullish area for tomorrow, right about 35,925 area. And I'm raising these projections up. Again, 35,748 for possible overnight support if it does pull back. Longer term support, keep watching that area even down to about 35,725 area, because that's going to be the rising rotation zone, so you could easily come back here and then rotate higher. If we did drop below there, then I'm really focusing on about 35,562. Then below 35,562, I think I'm just going to drop it all the way back to about 35,300, and then 35,100. Getting the separation of those, so 35,562 is going to be pretty key should it pull back on a daily basis. Now, to the upside, if we get in bullish mode tomorrow and get above Thursday's high, 36,100 to 36,121 is my first area. So that was the swing high from December 16th and the harmonic projection. Then we have a major cluster about 36,291, 292, and you have these prior closing area highs just above that, about 36,310. So that's going to be a major cluster for me. And then above that, we can use 36,369 minor, and then major would be 36,446 to 36,486. Then if you can get above there, which if this can get a strong push, again, I'm watching really for this close above this 36,100 area. Above there, then let's see, I'm going to have to clean up some of these levels in tomorrow's afternoons, but then I'll be watching about 36,643, 36,761 area. And I will do some cleanup of those levels. So that is the Dow. Give a good example of a double bottom pattern. I'm just trying to think of one off the top of my head. We had some. What do we have those setups in? Trying to remember. I don't have my notes in front of me. All right, let's. That's too sloppy. Yeah, Tesla, great double bottoms. I don't want to go into Tesla right now though on this because I always get demonetized once I bring up that. What's another one? Let's take a look. William on Square. Boeing is a good. Yeah, Boeing. Thanks. Well, let's take a look at Boeing since William's here anyways, and then we have Square. So here. Now this still, you can use the first and second target. The third one extends beyond the move, but this is a move that started it, and here's your double bottom. So it's reversing this move, and you want the first and second targets to be within the candle bodies. Okay? So this, you have two bottoms, but then it's reversing this move, so that makes it a double bottom because the targets fall within there. Okay? Apple, I wish that was. Let's see that on a 4-hour. Yeah, this is sort of sloppy, but this is another good example in Apple. This is easily reversing the moves. So this is the move that started it. You could have probably even used the aggressive targets with right there. And this one's still waiting to trigger. So the trigger for a double is a close above the peak that formed it. Now, the gap, keep in mind, if you're mentally, you can just draw a candle in here. Pretended that it opened where it closed the prior day, and this is on the 4-hour chart, and then it extended down to where it opened the next time. So if you're doing that, that helps for people that have trouble visualizing, but that would just be a big red candle that would fill that in. So this is the move it's reversing. Okay? Verse when we looked at like SPY. See, here's your two bottoms, but it's not reversing. See, you'd have to have a move that started from way up here. It'd have to be reversing a move that started from up here, and it's not. So that's just key support, forming two bottoms versus what we just looked at with Apple and Boeing. Okay, does that make sense? Thank you for those suggestions. And see, William, you still got Boeing into the live stream without you having to request it. See how that worked? Let's do Square. I think it was Square. What was that? I gotta scroll back up. Square, yes. SQ or Block, whatever it is now. Block. Looks like it's trying to put in the bottom. You have this divergence pattern here just below that little harmonic. And well, oh wow. Square might get really interesting. See, all right, see this you can't call a double top. This is just two tops. I'm sure it might have been some, no, it's just two tops. Maybe on a 5 minute this was a double top, a sloppy double top on the 5 minute, but this messed it up. This was almost. I was just trying to find see, but let's pretend this horribly sloppy double top within a double top. This is reversing this move, so it's the same with that kind of concept. Now, I'd be watching really close on Square. Wow. All right, we had the 4 hour rotation zone right here. You had these two tops about 172, and daily, that's above there. You start getting a close above this 172, it could be interesting. Again, you're going to have to move up stops pretty aggressively, but we have a divergence on the daily. It's would close in the daily rotation zone, and it's coming out of pretty oversold condition with that divergence. I would possibly watch. Now, this is not necessarily a long-term bottoming pattern, but you can aggressively move up your stops as it approaches the other side of the daily rotation zone. And see, it's way overextended, but even if it runs above there, start really focusing on 193 area to about 198, because that's going to be hard to get through. So even on a rally up here, you have a fair amount of resistance just between this 193 and 200, we'll call it. And that could easily come up here into the weekly rotation zone and then rotate back down. So that's why don't get insane with those levels. Okay, don't get, I mean, if you take something from the long side, and it does look interesting for a little bounce, especially in strong market conditions, but that's nothing to get like, okay, this is going to all-time highs again right now. There's not a longer term pattern yet. Let's see. What was it? Reversal of the current trend. So bearish trend bounced and failed, resisted that support and tried to reverse and reverse. Oh, you have so many reversals in there. Reversal of the current trend. Reverse the. It's a reversal of at least some kind of bearish trend. It's a bottoming pattern that is only valid through the reversal of that current trend. And it doesn't mean that the new trend, that the double bottom could form if it's triggered a new bullish trend, but you start unwinding it at the all the targets, because those are what's tested out the best. And then you could usually a lot of times get pullbacks, and then if it's going to form a new bullish trend, it then breaks the high of the double bottom pattern, that the run up. I'd have to find an example, and we'll do that at some point. You Bitcoin and coin popping. I was watching Bitcoin actually yesterday too. Say, I can't stop this. I can't stop this. But it was looking better. It's trying to base right here, right around. We had this key area, this 50,625 area. I'm seeing if it can get a rotation back up. It looks like it's trying to. And then we have 53,703. So that's my little stuff. It looks like it's trying to put in this longer term bottoming pattern, at least make a run up to 53,703, which then I will reassess there. But it's got to if it gets a strong rotation up tomorrow, it could be an interesting play. Ethereum's trying to base right at these moving averages. You don't have the cross of the rotation zone yet. And it's looking really labored, but you're starting to get, I think we saw some tether printing, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. But Bitcoin's looking a little more bullish right now than Ethereum, trying to make a little play, hold this key support or prior resistance becoming support. So if it does rotate up, it could be a short-term bullish play. I would not look at it yet until as a long-term one. Yeah, Bitcoin having trouble since breaking below 50. I mean, it's back above 50, but it's lost its momentum. Uh, let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Ahmad. I'm not Mukatar. Ahmad Mukatar Mirza. I hope I said that right. I'm practicing my names. So if I butchered it, I'm really sorry, but I appreciate you being here and watching the live stream. What else do we have? How do I feel on China stocks? It's there are certain ones I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, and other ones, they could start to get interesting. But overall, I'm not incredibly bullish yet. We still have this potential reversal pattern in BABA. Here's another one. Here's another example. So this is the move that started it right in here. I'll get more bullish if BABA can get a trigger on this double. Actually, if BABA could get a trigger on the double, I might even go with the aggressive targets. I'm going to watch, but then that would take it above the rotation zone. That's one of the key ones I'm watching. That's one of the key ones coming out of this really bearish pattern. But again, it's only a short-term bullish. So that's going to sort of be my gauge. We still have issues with potential of some of this property stuff going on in China and defaults. I'm still not just fully sold yet that China's completely out of the woods yet. Well, there you go. I didn't even say that, referring to Baba. Well, you're very welcome. If you ever want me to cover it, Bitcoin payment module, and I don't cover it, just request it in these live streams. Some people like it, some people don't. AKA that huge Baba gap. Yeah, this is, because this is where you get to, let me just roll it back here. You come up here, you might get a strong reaction and then a pullback. And this is where I'd use these full targets on the double. Take off the position, watch for that pullback, and then play, if it closes into the gap, play for a gap fill. Just curious, what is your thoughts on SPX going into 2022 with inflation and margin pressure? Fed taper could be sideways. I'm expecting a possibly fairly big pullback in the spring, if not slightly before then. We'll get the warning signs in the market first. I don't think it's in the all clear. And thank you for bringing that up, because let's take a look at some other things. I know they're not requested right now, but I think it's good that we keep these things in mind. Crude bouncing back. Crude's right at its 50-day exponential. So above here, we start getting above. You see, this is the 50% level from this move down. It starts getting above there, and longer term, I'm retargeting the 76.80 area. Then it get above there, then I'm watching for retests of the highs again. But this is starting to really ramp up again. Crude is. Gold, look beautiful. So gold broke above our 1793 area, pulled back to it, and now look at this move up and closing back above this 1812 area, which we were watching. Okay, so by the way, gold next targets are 1827 and 1835 to 1838. But this is a wonderful pattern. So you have a sideways base, you have resistance, see right here, break above it, hitting that next key area up, returning to this resistance becoming support, and then moving up, closing above this prior resistance area. Beautiful pattern right now. So there is still some stuff shifting into gold with inflationary aspects. Crude will keep running with inflationary aspects. Silver finally looking to get a move on. This is a advanced clear path. Especially start watching it. I'm going to bump up this level just a bit. to about, we have a harmonic there, about 23.27. You get above 23.27, I'm expecting a pretty strong run in silver. Okay, it'll start shifting to a longer term pattern. All right, let's see this too. Here's another example. See these two bottoms? We can test this out really easily. Is this a double bottom or not? No. Here's your first target, here's your second target, and it's not within the candle body. So this is just two bottoms, not a double bottom. Now, a lot of people will still play this, but it's slightly lower probabilities, and I would not use the targets. Okay, so you can play for a break above there, but it would not be using the double bottom targets. There's another great example of one that does not qualify. We're not a huge organization. You know, there's a few of us in here. We have, and then we bring in people as needed, whether it be for development, programming, whether we have like outside firms do a lot of our other aspects with marketing, development of products and everything else. And there's just a core little group of us that run the key areas. We both used to work for bigger firms in the past, and we like to keep things nice and small and intimate. So let's see. Oh, thanks. Okay, so your project, we make hardware device that converts vending machines like washers and dryers and the laundry. That was very interesting. Thank you again for being here. That is pretty cool. So that's an example with silver. Anything else? I'm not seeing anything else. Dollar, we got this little reversal. Dollar, we have this really interesting, if it does pull back more, but this is going to get interesting. Key line in the sand for me with the dollar is right now about 94.71, 70 area. That's right in front of the bottom of the rotation zone. So even on a pullback, I'm looking for that to hold with support. If that breaks, then it could get interesting. But there's some area to run to the upside still if it does reverse. I think that's good enough. We've gone on just over 30 minutes. What am I planning to trade this week? I'm going to be doing some offline analysis after this and working on that. William, don't have, besides my core list of things, I'm going to be going through a lot of stock charts after I got this live stream out, but I wanted to do the overall broad market analysis to make sure I got that first. I like to do the macro analysis before I do the micro analysis. So macro analysis first, in case I spotted something that would lead me to think there was going to be weakness, because if there's weakness, I'm then going to be focusing more on potential downside candidates, and if there's going to be strength, I'm going to be looking for upside candidates. So now I'm going to scan through my stock screeners and look for good, strong upside candidates. And if I find some, I might put them in the Discord server. Any goals for 2022? Get caught up with stuff and get the course put out, the revised course for everybody. And then I'd like to do some more development work with some custom indicators in TradingView for everybody. So we're going to look to do that. Thank you, William. I'm not seeing anything else here. We should have a good week. Again, I'm not seeing any negative news out there, not seeing anything scroll across the headlines that's leading me to worry. We'll watch the opening price action, but even if it pulls back in the Asian session, I'm going to be watching Europe's Open and how it reacts with Europe's Open and the US Open. And I'll talk to everybody tomorrow, same times, 3:30 Central for a market overview, 4:30 Central for Tesla, and we'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.